We have March Solicits 2025. I haven't looked at these at all yet. So
Hey, I've not looked at Solicits in like 3 months, so it can be some fun surprises for me.
Oh yeah, I think it's on issue 2 or 3 in this you won't have seen yet either.
Hey, I'm assuming this is new based off of the very brief solicit text, but the very first thing seeing that is news to me.
What, you mean the fact that Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are doing Batman?
Yeah, I knew they were doing Hush 2, but I thought that was going to be a standalone book. I didn't realize it was going to be the main book. I did not read enough into it to realize that before now. But sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean that's how the original series or the original Hush was presented. It was in Batman, so
it was. But I feel like you could just sell a book that's Hush 2 as a standalone thing, and they absolutely could. But any excuse to get Starsky off Batman.
That's what I was going to say. On the upside, it's that said, though, I think this current arc in Batman is better than any of the rest of his Batman run. So that's something.
I'm a few issues behind still on Batman. I think that went weekly for a bit. No, I did the weekly section. I think I've done that. Yeah. I'm at least 1 or 2 issues behind on Batman.
I think it was twice a month for a couple of months. I don't think it was weekly.
That might be what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's not amazing, but it's definitely, I think, more interesting. It's not tied to all that failsafe Zur-En-Arr bullshit that was.
Please, I never want to hear that again.
So yeah, Batman 158, which is the start of this is actually old news because they announced this like 3 months in advance. So other than to Connor, we all knew this was.
Like I said, I knew Hush 2 was coming. Yeah. I knew this team up was happening. I just didn't realize it was specifically in the main book.
Yeah. They said that whatever con was a couple of months ago.
So the thing is, the reason I didn't realize is because I don't think Hush is actually that great. So I didn't care enough to click on the article.
I think Hush is a fun enough pulpy time. It's not a special story by any means, but it's.
I think Hush is a perfectly good beginner story to give to someone as here's a quick rundown on a bunch of Bat villains and who they all are. But beyond that, I don't think it's actually a very good story.
I can't really argue too much. I don't feel strongly about Hush. It's out of all the big Batman classic stories, it's. I like.
It was an excuse for Jim Lee to just draw everything he wanted to, right?
Yeah.
And it looks good.
Yeah. I mean, I suspect I will have fun reading and discussing this, regardless of it being.
It could be a train wreck, but yes.
Yes, it could be a train wreck. It could be decent. Who knows? Maybe it'll even be good. I mean, that's probably less likely, but it's possible. So. Absolute Batman issue 6, still Snyder and Regatta. Won't say too much, just just ongoing. We'll talk about that properly later because we're doing an issue of that today. Absolute Superman issue 5. Have you read any of this yet?
I've read the first. I've definitely read the first one. I think the first 2.
Yeah, did you like them?
I've read. Yeah, I've read 1 for sure. Yeah.
Oh no, we're into that. Yeah. Me and Matt were both pretty positive, I have to say. I
think it is far and away the weakest of the 3 absolutes.
Interesting. I've enjoyed all 3, so I have a hard time. Actually, how would I rank? That's a good question. Actually, how would I rank the 3 books? But I've enjoyed all 3 for various reasons. Speaking of which, Absolute Wonder Woman issue 6 also solicited for March, which has been very good. Really good action comic. That all the big monster fighting stuff has been very well done. Yeah. Absolute Green Lantern issue 1 by Al Ewing and Johanny Lindsay. So we had heard about Al Ewing taking this book a little bit back, but it is nice to finally see it solicited. Without a core, without the ring, without the willpower, what's left is the Absolute Green Lantern. So we're going to be doing something very different with this take on the character. So cool. That's interesting. Also previously announced was Absolute Martian Manhunter issue 1 by Dennis Camp and Javier Rodriguez. Definitely looks like they're going a bit more wacky and Art Deco looking based on that cover.
I like Rodriguez. I feel like I've read a few things by Camp before and I've liked some of it and not liked others. I know I've not read 20th Century Men though, which is like incredibly well regarded. So maybe that'll change my mind.
Yeah, beyond Mars, beyond physical form, beyond human understanding, all that's left is the ultimate alien, the Absolute Martian Manhunter. I mean, these solicits for these aren't really saying much, but this is definitely the one that I'm the least excited for, because obviously Al Ewing's a big get, and obviously I like Green Lantern, And similarly, up next is Absolute Flash by Jeff Lemire and Nick Robles. So again, Jeff Lemire is the big get there. So it feels like the big five, and by big five I mean Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern, all feel like they have fairly superstar like names on them. So they're really making an effort with those. So cool.
Yeah. The art's been the selling point on a lot of the books so far, though, and I hope that continues.
Sure. I don't think I know who Nick Robles is. I don't think I've encountered the arts before.
I don't think I've read anything of theirs. I've seen some bits, and it looks really solid. Actually, no, I think they might have done some of the stuff in the Dreaming and like the Sandman universe stuff.
It should be interesting. Right, next up we got Peacemaker Presents The Vigilante Eagly Double Feature Issue 1. So this is consulted by James Gunn, written by Tim Seeley and Rex Ogle, with art by Mitch Gerrards and Matteo Lolli.
It amazes me that this is a 5-issue mini and not a one-shot.
That is actually quite surprising. It's very surprising, actually. The funny thing about this is that this is kind of an easy skip in a weird way, because it's presumably tying into the to the TV show or whatever, because it's got James Gunn kind of connected to it, and it just seems like an easy thing to not bother with. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily tying in, but I think it definitely is going to be very strongly inspired by characterization and tone. I think it's marketing itself to fans of the show as opposed to necessarily like DC fans in general.
Maybe it will tie into season 2 but not season 1.
Could be, yeah.
That's a joke based about the continuity of the current DCU movies, where season 2 will apparently be canon to the DCU that is now starting, but season 1 is not, just to be confusing. Secret 6 issue 1. Okay, I didn't know about this. This is surprising. Nicole Main's writing. So Nicole Main's is leveling up.
So Dreamer's on the team then, right?
She appears to be on the Dream. That is correct. But this is a full book by Nicole Maines, whereas typically up until now it's been either co-writing a tie-in issue or doing a backup in a book. This is the first time I think I've just seen Nicole Maines on a full issue.
Yeah, she's definitely solo written some stuff, but it's been shorter stuff, I think.
Yeah, it's been backups or stuff in the anthology issues, that kind of thing.
I think it has all exclusively been Dreamer related.
It has. It's this weird job she's got because she played Dreamer, where like, oh, you can just keep writing Dreamer every time she shows up.
I have to say though, I haven't found any of it bad. Like,
that's
some of
fair.
It's been like, I don't think any of it's like blown me away, but like none of it's been like, oh no, I'm gonna skip this. Like, it's terrible.
I haven't found any of it that exciting either, though. I think my concern.
I haven't either, but I think part of that has always been the premise of the things they're like, I'm assuming it's from an editorial direction, because it's always been like tie-ins to events and like things like that. So I think part of that is, it's not like she's just telling her own story with Dreamer. It's always been, put Dreamer in this event and here do a one-shot or here do a backup. I think this might be a bit different with actually getting to do their own story. Yeah,
at least an arc of a full story. And maybe since Dreamer got a little bit of development during Absolute Power, which just seems to be kind of, coming out in the aftermath of, maybe this will be Nicole Maines stretching her legs and, writing some other characters and actually,
Yeah, it doesn't give an issue count, but it does say it's a limited series at the end of the solicit.
Yeah, honestly, these solicits have been wildly inconsistent this past year about telling you when something's a limited series, how many issues of a limited series is it.
And as we've seen over recent years, just because they say it's a limited series doesn't mean it'll stay that way if it's popular. I mean,
that's true.
Look at Poison Ivy. that was a 5 or 6 issue mini originally, and now it's because in the mid to high 20s.
Yeah, all the perverts like Matt keep buying all the covers. That's why that's still around.
It's also consistently one of the best DC books that I read every month.
Oh, fair enough.
It's so reliably solid.
Yeah, fair. Superman 24, Joshua Williamson with Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira on the art. So that continues the Doomsday Saga, which is incoming. How caught up are you in Superman right now?
I am up to, let me just tell you where the last issue is, because I've read some during this catch-up period, so I'm only 1 or 2 behind at most.
So if you got to like
I've got to the reveal with Doomsday.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yes.
Are you, so
Yes.
you've met old man wise Doomsday, okay?
Yes, yes, I have got that. I think that was probably the end of the last issue that I read.
Okay, I'm just curious. Wonder Woman 19 Solicited, which, if I recall correctly, I saw earlier that this is the end of the Sovereign arc, which, you know, the book's been about basically since it started. So this is going to be a big ending of a chapter. It's not the end of the run, though. So
Shame.
you shut up. This has been fantastic. Been loving this book. So yeah, Sempier on the art here, with Tom King, of course. So cool. Nice wraparound cover to celebrate the end of the arc. So yeah, that's definitely, like, I'm sure there'll be an omnibus of the whole thing as well, but like I can see a big deluxe of this, you know, first 19 issues, maybe barring the tie-in that was irrelevant.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just about inside the right length.
Yeah, because I think there was a couple of Absolute Power tie-in issues, and then there was one fill-in issue. If you take those out, you're at nice deluxe size.
Otherwise, you're too much.
Yeah. Action Comics 1084, John Ridley writing with Inaki Miranda. We found out in the last couple of solicits that we're still doing the Superstars of Action Comics thing where we're rotating around. It's just that Mark Waid got 12 issues in 3 months instead of 3.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I would like a proper run as well, but here's hoping Ridley's story is good.
Ridley, I find really hit or miss. Like some of his stuff I love, some of it I just do not get on with at all. So
yeah,
but I mean, there'll only be a few issues at worst, right? So
yeah, I mean either way, love it or hate it, it's 3 issues. So
yeah,
you're not stuck with it for too long. Detective Comics 1095, continuing Taylor's run on the book. We got Justice League Unlimited issue 5, continuing the Mark Waid and Dan Mora run on the Justice League book. New Gods issue 4, obviously we'll talk about this heavily later on because we got issue 1 today. Justice League The Atom Project issue 3 by John Ridley and Ryan Parrott with art by Mike Perkins. So
I had not seen this one. The team, Ryan Parrott, I feel like has done. They do Atom stuff before because the name's like really familiar.
I don't recognize the name, but I mean Mike Perkins.
Obviously, Mike Perkins is probably the thing that's the biggest draw there for me.
Yeah, this is one, like, I always do this with solicits. I always forget books until they've started coming out, so this is like a surprise again. Oh yeah, this thing is going to exist.
Yeah.
So I always forget them up until the issue 4 solicit. Speaking of, Challenges of the Unknown, issue 4 solicit. We got Aquaman issue 3, so that's the Jeremy Adams run that's going to be starting next month. Super excited to see his take on the Aquatic Knight.
Yeah, obviously I've been really into Adams's Green Lantern stuff. I didn't really like his Flash stuff. More on that later. But yeah, I mean, so it's 50-50 as to whether or not I'm going to enjoy this. I'm hoping for the best. John Timms is pretty solid. Probably wouldn't have been my first like obvious choice for an Aquaman book, but
yeah, it's just nice that we got an Aquaman ongoing again. It's just nice to.
In a while, yeah.
Yeah, it has been a while. I mean that Rebirth book did go up to like issue 40 something, maybe 50 something, something in that range.
Yeah, about
that. But that's a while ago now since that even ended. So be cool to see what Adams has got planned here. Zatanna issue 2, Jamal Campbell, both writing and doing the art. This is a miniseries, so I'd forgotten that was coming out. So nice to be reminded.
Obviously, I'm hopeful that Campbell's art is better than the last time I saw it, which was probably the last time I was on the show.
What book was that?
It was one of the tie-ins to Absolute Power. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Zatanna was in it. I think it was an Action Comics issue.
It was when they were moving through like the
because I was not a fan of his art in that issue.
Okay.
But also, has he written anything before? I don't think I've read anything he's written.
I don't think I've read anything that Jamal Campbell's written. No.
Okay.
So yeah, that remains to be seen what that's going to be like. Green Lantern issue 21, Adams run continues on.
Cool.
Curious to see where that's going now that we're kind of wrapping up a big chunk of it where we are right now in the book. Green Lantern Corps issue 2 by Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton. Yeah, so this was obviously solicited for the first time last month. So yeah, second Green Lantern book. Again.
Yeah, it's nice to have more. Let's not overdo it this time. We don't need one every week, DC.
No. I think obviously tying into Adam's run makes sense with having him being here as a co-writer. So yeah,
is it definitely co-writers or is it 2 stories? Because there's 2 artists as well.
That is true. I think we had the same question with the last solicit. The page count does not indicate backup, but it's entirely possible they might have split it up in a more creative way.
I'm just thinking though, I don't think so. Like All Winter, I don't think had an extended page count. Did it? Because obviously the first 5 issues of that were a main story and a backup.
No, I think it did. I mean, it felt like it did, and then I think the last issue just had all the pages were given to the main story.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we'll see then. We'll see which way they go with this.
Yeah. Green Arrow issue 22 by Chris Condon, art by Montos. Which, I mean, in theory, we should have checked this out when it switched to a new person, like a new writer, but all these books were starting, so it was just like, nah.
Fair enough. It was on my list to get to, but I haven't actually got to that yet, so.
Yeah, The Flash issue 19, which we actually I dropped it fairly early in this run. Matt stuck it out for another maybe 4 or 5 issues, and then very, very begrudgingly admitted that he wanted to drop it, and finally did so.
I am amazed that you dropped it before Matt.
It was
because I was pretty out after the first issue, but I thought you, from back then I thought you were enjoying it a lot more than Matt did.
I was really enjoying the style of it, but by the time it got to issue 5 or 6 of the run, it was getting so convoluted with so many concepts that it was thrown at me that it was just becoming so because there was one issue that was really good that was kind of really focused about a character who might be someone grown up from the future, and that was a really interesting issue. And then, but every time we went back to this garden where Wally's sort of in his own mind or something, or he's in this pocket dimension in the Speed Force, and we've got the archangels, not angels, archangels.
Morning angle.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, so that's still going. But you know what? There's so many other books starting that, to be honest, it's good that I don't want to read that for a while. Catwoman 74 is going strong.
I did actually read the first issue of the new writer because it was issue 69, 70.
What was that like?
Actually quite solid.
Oh, okay.
I quite enjoyed it. I'm going to catch up on it. But
honestly, I think this is one that we just didn't even notice it changed, like the team. I think it just kind of flew past us.
So on I only noticed because DC Universe Infinite, they have a section for the all-in books. So here's all the new ones. Is all the stuff with the big new brand, the first issue of all of them. It just kind of throws it into that section. And I saw it in there. And I was like, oh well, I'll give it a try then. And it was actually quite good.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Birds of Prey issue 19. With Juan Cabal on the art for this particular issue. So very cool. Nice cover there in that one as well. Poison Ivy 31. Jewel Wilson still with Brian Level on the art.
So different artists to usual. I don't know if it's a guest issue or a guest arc.
It's usually Takara who's on the art in this book. I even read that book, but I've read so many solicits for that book that the name's stuck with me. Harley Quinn 49 is there. It exists. As is Harley Quinn Fartacular, Silent but Deadly, issue 1. This is a scratch and sniff comic. With, I presume, fart smells.
Who wants this?
I don't know. This feels like it's a gimmick to be sold to people who don't normally read comic books. Children, specifically.
Yeah.
Also, it's silent but deadly, but the butt spelled with 2 T's, just to emphasize that.
I hate it.
Oh, dear. Nightwing 124, Dan Waters, Dexter Sai, continuing that run. We'll be talking more about that today, and that was an issue. Batgirl issue 5. Well, that's a nice cover.
That's a good cover.
And that's continuing that run, which I've also very much enjoyed the first 2 issues of that.
I very much enjoyed the first issue. Haven't done the second one yet, but first one's very good.
It's not as tight as the first, because the first one's so like impeccably like simple in its execution. Yeah. The second one has to be a bit more
basically one room.
Yeah, but it was really good still. Cassie's like inner monologue as she's like changing her mind about things is very good. Well done.
And the way it does her reading the body language as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. Batman and Robin issue 19, more of Philip K. Johnson's run with Javi Fernandez.
That was a nice surprise when I was reading through it. So I was just catching up, and I'd forgotten that he was taking over. So I just got to it and started the issue. I was like, "Ooh, this is different."
Yes, I liked the first issue of his.
The only one I've read so far.
Yeah, I liked it for the most part. My only critique is it felt like Damien had like regressed a bit with his like take on.
I feel like that happens every single time we get a new writer on Damien.
It happens maybe to an extent, but like this felt like a strong regression to me compared to normal. That said, though, everything it's doing with the serial killer stuff and like the cult and all that sort of side of it, I've been digging.
Yeah,
I mean, it's only been 2 issues of it so far, but I did like the second part more so. Batman and Robin Year 1 issue 6. We'll talk more about issue 2 of that, or issue 3 of that later today. So cool. Metamorpho the Element Man issue 4. That starts this coming week. So we'll have more to say about that then. Question All Along the Watchtower issue 5. Again, we'll have more to talk about that. There's a lot of books today because I've said that a bunch of times at this point. Shazam issue 21. Josie Campbell with Damn It Dead still on the art. So cool. Yes. Power Girl issue 19. That's continuing, and Matt will still read it.
For reasons.
Yes. So, yes, 2 big reasons, I presume.
I was thinking that, yeah.
JSA. That having said that, though, he did help me understand something in the backup of Action because he's been reading Power Girl, so he made sense of something that I didn't. So it was at least handy having him with that knowledge.
That's good. That probably went straight out of my head as well then.
Yeah, that's something to do with Kara or Karen Starks, but being able to like, connect psychically with Kara was a thing that was established in Power Girl. So
sure, why not?
It's yeah. Anyway, GSA issue 5, Jeff Lemire and Diego Orlatigue. So obviously that just started recently. Read issue 1 of it.
I've not actually checked that one out yet.
Black Lightning issue 5, Brandon Thomas and Fico Ozio. DC Cross Sonic the Hedgehog issue 1. I did not know about this. What's happening? Ian Flynn writing with Adam Bryce Thomas on art.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be as good as the Godzilla Kong crossover.
Hey, other than the lukewarm ending, that was surprisingly fun.
Yeah.
The monstrous Darkseid crosses dimensions to invade the world of Sonic the Hedgehog, seeing the ultimate power. Oh, he wants a Chaos Emerald. Darkseid wants the Chaos Emerald. Sonic and his friends have faced everything from mad scientists to ancient spirits, but the forces of apocalypse may be too much. No shit, Sonic.
Interesting as well. The writer Ian Flynn, I'm pretty sure, is the guy that's been writing, or at least in charge of the Sonic comic for like the last 5 years.
Oh, so that's right. Actually,
IDW.
This is IDW Sonic canon that we're delving into here. It's actually to connect.
Yeah,
to that.
I think this is more. I think in terms of crossovers, this falls closer to like the Justice League Black Hammer stuff we had, where Lemire was like in charge of those.
Interesting. Well, with Sonic 3 about to come out and make a lot of money, I guess they're thinking, oh, there's money to be made here. What?
I'm quoting the trailer, never mind. People would have got it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Hey, they're feeling confident because they just announced Sonic 4 for 2027, so...
Jesus Christ. I'm amazed.
And I read I think a spoiler. I won't say what it is for everyone, don't worry. But I read a spoiler about characters that are expected to be in 4, presumably because they're set up at some point in 3. And I thought, how many of these Sonic characters are there? There's enough to set up another new character at the end of every movie for the next one.
The correct answer is at least one more. And that's always the correct answer.
Well, they haven't got to Rouge the Bat yet. So we'll see if they ever get there.
At least one more.
Titans 21, John Layman and Pete Woods, which, yeah, sadly, I ended up not reading more than one issue of this new run. It was perfectly okay, the first issue of it, but it was just okay, and there was a lot of books starting, so it was easy to just sort of cut it off there. Oh, Connor's went mute. He's speaking, and nothing is coming through. Gremlins of the past. Now he's troubleshooting. I will go on with the solicits while he figures things out. Two-Face issue 4 by Christian Ward and Fabio Veras. So issue 1 of that was pretty solid stuff. So I'm intrigued by more as Connor continues to troubleshoot. Black Canary, Best of the Best, issue 5. I'm sure Connor would hate it because it's Tom King, but issue 1 was really good, so excited for more of that. Batman Superman World's Finest 37. Mark Waid and Adrian Gutierrez. So yeah, I'm still shocked every time that this book, especially with Mark Waid taking all these other projects, but he's committed to this being a long beefy run seemingly. So there's that. Batman Dark Patterns issue 4. Dan Waters and Ian Sherman. Oh, Connor's back. There you go.
I am. There we go.
Yeah. Dark Patterns had a good first issue as well.
Well, I've not done that yet. I think it's on the next week of where I'm up to.
Yeah, me and Matt were both into it because that was last week that came out. So good stuff. Just when Matt was like, I'm not reading any more Batman books, he keeps getting good Batman books to read.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah. It's really annoying.
Yeah, Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue 6. And I'll say it, the full title every time, just to point out how stupid it is that they'll just call it The Last Halloween.
I hate it so much.
There. I mean, the book itself's actually been pretty decent so far, I think.
It's solid. I've not been loving it, but it's solid.
It's nice to be back in that sort of version of Gotham, because, I think most people read Long Halloween, at least, if not that and Dark Victory, early on in their comic reading careers. That it's nice to revisit.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because obviously it's different artists every issue, so
yes.
I think this will read better. It'll be one of those weird occasions that reads better monthly than it will collected. I think it might be a very disjointed collection by the end, potentially.
It's a shame because I thought that the first artist they had was very good at emulating Tate Sale, and I was like, oh, just keep this guy. this was very good.
The second one was Klaus Janson, who obviously has such a distinct style of his own. I don't think was even trying.
Well, yeah, which is fair, but I mean, it's just a thing. They want you to honor Tim Sale by not just having a replacement for the whole thing. But it's
going to make it feel disjointed at the end.
DC Horror presents Creature Commandos issue 6.
Did not read this one.
Sorry?
I did not check that out at all. Did anyone else?
Nah, nor did I. No. Again, there's a lot of stuff starting. Like some picking and choosing just kind of had to be done. So anything that was like, I don't really want to, I just didn't bother. DC versus Vampires World War V issue 7. I did read the first issue of this just to give it a chance, and just did not really care. So
I've been reading it for reasons. I think I'm up to 3, 4, whatever it is. It's fine.
Not as good as that first half of the original book, though, I bet. Yeah.
I'm close.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Apparently, Joey Esposito's doing the backup on this one.
I mean, I'll probably still read it. I'll be in my massive pile of things to catch up on when I get to that. But I'm not going to be excited for it.
Here's one we were predicting based on a reprint that was solicited last month. Superman, The Last Days of Lex Luthor, issue 2, the Black Label book by Mark Waid.
It's real again.
Because issue 1 was like resolicited or reprinted in the last solicits, and we went, oh, this probably means it's about to come. But then we read the solicit text, and it actually said in the text, issue 2 and 3 coming in the next couple of months. Like, all right, there we go.
I do remember when all of this went down, I think it was Brian Hitch that spoke out, being like, I don't know why this solicitor, I told him it was going to be this long. I don't know why they didn't wait until it was going to be ready. Because I think he was working on another job at the same time. So why they did that to themselves in the first place?
Yeah, it was clearly some sort of weird mistake. Someone just put it into the print file and didn't think twice about it, and here we are. But yes, I mean, we already talked about issue 1 on the show, but I will definitely be rereading issue 1 before issue 2 comes out, because obviously I don't remember a single goddamn thing that happened in it.
That's got to be over a year ago at this point.
Oh, it's like a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years at this point.
Yeah, it was a while, right?
Yeah, this was longer than that Lemire Swamp Thing book that took a big gap between issue 1 and 2.
I'm really intrigued as to when the first issue actually came
I'm
out.
going to guess 2022.
It was issue 1. Let's have a look. No.
Oh?
July 2023.
Okay, all right, you know what? Fair enough. It feels longer, but
So it'll be about like 20 months between issues.
yeah, it's reprinting issue 1 right before was a wise choice, though. I think.
Yeah.
Very wise choice. And I would just go into the facsimile editions.
Whoa! You're gonna miss Teen Titans Go issue 1, the most important thing in this.
Sorry. I skimmed past that. Teen Titans Go issue 1. Sholly Fish writing with Dario Brazuela on art.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to give the book a try because it's an easy skip, but like that's not to knock Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go to the movies was a surprisingly fun time, so no ill will from me.
I've enjoyed every episode of the show that I have watched, and the movie.
I never watched the show, but I'll take that.
I watched the first quite a bit. I've watched the first 40, 50 episodes. It's Always Sunny for kids.
We have other than the facsimiles, we also have Trinity Generation S one shot, which is basically just a reprint of all the backups that Tom King's done in Wonder Woman about young Lizzie growing up with John and
Set
Damien.
the stage for Trinity's upcoming series.
Yes, I'm not surprised by that.
No.
You sound just
no. It's just another book I can skip.
Yeah, why you? It's not like it's replacing the Wonder Woman book. It'll be an extra thing. You just don't have to read it.
I wish it was replacing the Wonder Woman book, because then I could get another Wonder Woman book instead.
You've got absolute Wonder Woman. You're literally been given a Wonder Woman book.
Yeah, but I want a continuity Wonder Woman book. I want a real Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is like, out of the big three, Wonder Woman is easily the best book between Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman right now. Easily.
I mean, it's a very, very, very low bar. I don't particularly like any of them.
I mean, that's fair. But I do think Wonder Woman is genuinely phenomenal. And the fact that you don't like is fine, but you sit there and be all bah humbug about it.
I will, yeah.
All right. Then in collections, the All In Saga, which is Absolute
Hefty.
Power 4.
No, not actually.
DC All In Special 1. This is just a bunch of first issues of like the arcs and stuff from All In. This is pointless shit. I'm just gonna call it what it is.
Skip that.
Yeah, this is a waste of time. Like, because all you're literally giving people is the first parts of stories, except Absolute Power 4, which is the end of a story. This is a complete waste of time. Don't buy this All In Saga nonsense. Yes, there's better ways to collect all that material that you can get instead.
Yeah.
Death DC Compact Comics Edition. Neil Gaiman.
Sold. I've actually got a couple of these compact comics now because they're just so cheap that I'll just be in the bookshop, and so Waterstones give you a stamp for every £10 you spend on books, and sometimes I'll spend like £5 on something, or I'll be out at like 15. I'll just chuck one of these on just for the sake of it, because they're like £8 or something like that. They're so cheap, and they're just chucking about power. I don't want to hold over me. I took one on a coach ride when I went on a coach for a couple hours. Good value. Can't go wrong with pretty much any of them.
Oh, fair enough. Knock yourselves out. DC Pride: The Farthest Reaches. It's just the hardcover version of the special, I presume, that came out earlier this year for the Pride month. Then we got Absolute Batman Dark Victory reprinting, because that has definitely been Absolute before.
I was going to say it must have been.
Yeah. And then we have Wednesday Comics 2025 edition.
Everyone get it. It's phenomenal. I cannot recommend it enough, and especially in the format. I think it's a rare one that I don't recommend to read digitally because it's massive. Right, fair warning, it is massive. I don't know where my copy is off the top of my head because it can't fit on any of my shelves because it's way too tall, because it is newspaper sized,
Mm.
and it's fantastic. Every story is fantastic, and you want to read it in the big, massive format.
Okay. Yeah, it's 11 inches by 17.5 inches for anyone who wants to go and measure
It's
that
huge.
out.
Yeah, like I said, it's newspaper sized.
Kangaroo tests and tournaments. I have no idea what this is. Otherwise, I think it's one of these young adult.
Jellyfish. So no, it's younger. It's Jellyfish is the one. He's the kids ones.
Right. Oh, right. I see a little Wonder Woman on there, so it's kangaroo as in. Okay, all right, okay. I was looking for the DC connection. I found it. We found a monster by Kirk Scroggs, another graphic novel of some sort for young kids. The Mystery of the Meanest Teacher, a Johnny Constantine mystery. Again, another
sold
young adult thing.
13-year-old Constantine.
Ryan North writing with Derek Charm on art for that. Zatanna and the House of Secrets, again, another young adult style graphic novel. Matthew Cody writing with Yoshi Yoshitani on the art. Dead Men Tells the Spooky Tales, written by Franco, and art by Andy Price. So
what is this one? I don't know this one.
It's a 13-tale anthology.
Yeah, that's not a collection. This is something.
Yeah, it's a graphic novel, but I think it's just an anthology style graphic novel.
Yeah. It's quite cheap as well. Like, no, that's the same as the compact line.
Yeah, well, the last couple were also $9.99, so I think this is just hey, they're cheap enough for kids to get with some pocket money, kind of.
That's exactly what people are doing with compact comics, by the way, which I think is, you get a lot of bang for your buck with those.
DC's Finest events is another line they've been doing, is this DC Finest thing. 0 Hour Part 2, so second chunk of that, 500 pages, beefy.
Yeah, they're the big soft covers, but collecting a lot of like Silver Age and onwards classic stuff. I think meant to be pretty good. Yeah,
DC's Finest Superboy, Superdog from Krypton, which is another 500 plus pages. Correct stories from Adventure Comics and Superboy. And Crypto's about to be a big deal soon, so I suspect a lot of crypto-related reprints over the summer. We have Superman Action Comics Superstars Volume 1, so this is both Gail Simone and Jason Aaron's stories together, which, makes sense, because it would be too short otherwise. So, fair enough. Batman Volume 5, The Dying City, Chip Zdarsky's next chapter.
Yay.
Batman Full Moon, The Werewolf Story, hardcover, this one.
I assume Matt read this?
I read it too, to be fair.
How did it? Was it good?
It's pretty fun. Like, it's not like a must-read material, but if you watch a story where Batman gets bit by a werewolf and turns into a werewolf, then it's...
I actually did quite like the look of it, especially like the front cover is very striking. And, had me intrigued, but I didn't feel the need to cram it during this massive catch-up session.
Oh, sure. I mean,
so I'll go back to it.
It's had 2 issues so far, so obviously I'm not seeing how it ends or anything, but I did appreciate, though, that quite early on in issue 1, like, one of the main supporting characters is Kurt Langstrom, which I think is a really smart thematic choice, because, Man-Bat and all that.
Is it all black and white?
No, the book's not black and white.
Oh, that's kind of a shame. I love how scratchy that black and white cover is, that I kind of wish it was all like that.
No. Art is good, though, so I don't think you'll be displeased with it. Batman Braving the Bold Out of the Darkness, next collection of that book. Suicide Squad by John Ostrander Omnibus Volume 1. So, speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's a good length, just over 1,000 pages.
Yeah, probably. It's the thing, it's like, if it's less than 1,500, they'll do it in one book, but if it's like over 1,500, they'll be like, shit, we have to split it in 2, so...
Yeah.
Or more if it's even more than that, obviously, but that's the original Suicide Squad run, so...
Sorry, I just scrolled down. You'll see.
Okay, Beyond Batman, The White Knight, Deluxe Edition. I don't think it's that you're talking about.
It's not.
Oh, Red Hood and the Outlaws, the New 52 Omnibus, Volume 1. New edition. This is a reprint of an omnibus for this.
How are there enough people wanting this omnibus they have to reprint it?
Sickos like you.
I can promise you that is not on my shelf.
No, it's in a safe. It's your most prized possession.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin Volume 2, Batman versus Robin, new printing of the soft cover. So this is the second the Grant Morrison books. or volumes, I should say. Outsiders Volume 2, Never the End. So that's the second half of that series.
Ironically, including the end.
Including the ending, yes. Birds of Prey, Hero Hunters. This is the next Gail Simone. Actually, no, I think this is a reprint of one that they already put out, Gail Simone, because it specifically says 2025 edition, so maybe it's not a
reprint, yeah.
chunk of it. GLA Book 2, so this is the second chunk of Grant Morrison's run in GLA. Although notably, these pit soft covers they're doing now are including issues that weren't included in the deluxes or the other versions, because those were just Morrison's issues, whereas this is including any like fill-ins and stuff that were also happening. So this is more comprehensive. So depending on what you want from it, that might be good or bad, but worth knowing. Night Terrors Omnibus. You can jettison that into the sun, kill it with fire. What a waste of time.
Pages bang on, almost.
I like the Detective Comics 2 issues in that set, out of all those issues.
I think the only reason to buy this is if you want to literally take $150 and then set it on fire, because that's what you might as well do with it.
What a waste of 2 months that was. Like I said, I like Detective Comics 1 and 2. It was like a weird Hellraiser and Gotham style story. All the rest of them were there. Remember the hero's origin? Here's it again, with one scary difference. Rinse and repeat.
On. We did have, I think it was Batman that had the giant pearls.
Oh, okay. It was a funny new take on his traumatic origin, but
that might be worth the price of an omnibus for some people.
Yeah, I literally want to spit in this. It's how much I hated reading that.
Yeah,
I'd probably feel just as hot on Convergence if I actually read Convergence, but I didn't. So, because we were doing the show when Convergence happened, so I didn't have to force myself to do it.
You just took a little break.
I just took a break. That was nice.
Yeah.
Injustice 2 Omnibus. Fair enough. Yeah, Tom Taylor's second. I've never went back and read his Injustice stuff. I guess it feels so separate. I don't feel like I need to, but at the same time, it is Taylor, so I probably should at some point.
Good chunk of the first one, but that was like, I think that was when it was a digital release, so they were really short chapters originally. So I kind of just fell off because there was like a short chapter every week. I just fell off eventually, but it was pretty solid from what I read.
That's cool. Nightwing Volume 1 Bloodhaven. So this is the original Nightwing run from the 90s. And it's it's a mini series and then 1/8, but it's about 12 issues worth, so it's about 2 normal trade size and softcover. So that's cool, they're reprinting that. Same with Nightwing Prince of Gotham Omnibus, and this is the New 52 Nightwing run in an omnibus, reprinting as well. So, not a run that I'm particularly fond of, but hey.
Yeah, it's not like a terrible run, but it's not one that I feel like you need to recommend to people to go revisit.
Nah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am more than happy for everything to be kept in print in every format that people may want to choose from, but it's not one that's exciting me. Superman Final Crisis Legion of Three Worlds, the deluxe edition. So, deluxe of specifically that part of the tying into Final Crisis, which I know people are fond of. 100 Bullets Book 2, new printing, a softcover, 400 pages.
Cool. Keep it up.
Superman Up in the Sky, deluxe edition. That's the Tom King 6-issue Superman story. This was the one that was originally in. Was it newspapers? Not newspapers. Remember they did. There was a Superman and a Batman story that they printed in something else. It was like I think it was like, is it Free Comics at Walmart or something? It was something like that.
Yeah. Was Gail Simone doing one of them? I feel like Gail Simone did something in that line.
Something like that, yeah. But Superman one from King's getting a deluxe. Legion of Superheroes, The Curse Deluxe Edition. So I don't know enough about Legion to know what this story is, but I'm sure Matt's foaming at the mouth somewhere.
It's a pretty hefty looking book though, so you're probably getting your value, and it's Levitz and Giffen, so it's probably solid. Yeah,
540 pages hardcover, so it's basically an omnibus, it's just not deluxe sized, I guess. That's the only difference.
It's no, I think it probably is more deluxe sized than.
Oh no, it says deluxe edition.
Yeah,
it says deluxe. Never mind.
I was gonna say deluxes and omnibus are the same trim.
Yes,
they're both oversized.
Yeah, but I didn't read deluxe, so I thought it was regular hardcover size but thicker.
Ah, right. Yes. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. Deluxe and omnibuses are always the same height, for lack of a better term. Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka omnibus. That's cool. So that's 1,000 pages, and it's the original run, but it looks at the numbers here.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It's not his rebirth stuff.
Which could probably just
What's
get
really interesting is
Yeah.
the Solicit title just says we're known by Greg Rucka Omnibus. But if you look at the image, the cover actually says Omnibus Volume 1. So I wonder if Volume 2
That'd be Rebirth. Yeah.
is his rebirth stuff then.
That makes sense. He did about 25 issues plus a couple of tie-in things, so that would probably be a decent enough second omnibus.
Yeah.